Hey, this is Lucas Faust from Faust Law Office. I'm here with Stuart Whitehair, who is our attorney of the month. And as with every single attorney of the month, and actually every person I ever have in a jury trial, I always ask him this question. Stuart, I'm going to ask you, setting your faith and your family aside, those are really important things, but setting those aside, what's the passion in your life, Stuart? Tell us about yourself.
Well, for better or worse, it's my alma mater football team. I went to undergrad and law school at the University of Colorado in Boulder, and I have a website. It's See You at the Game, so it's seeyouatthegame.com. I've had it for the last 10 or 12 years, and I'm still a season ticket holder. I go down there, and the last 2 years now, it's the end of the second season, we've had a podcast. So I've got the See You at the Game website, and I've got the See You at the Game podcast. And
oh, good.
It's gotten some recognition. I got about 500,000 visits a year to the website. So it's a going concern at this point.
Hey, that's great. So my son goes to Colorado State. Don't hold that against me. Okay. When are they going to finally get back to playing each other again, Stuart? Is that going to happen in our lifetime? What's going on?
Yeah, they've got a home and home 2023, 2024, and then I think 4 more games over the next 12 years. So it's going to be 2 years on, 2 years off, 2 years on, 2 years off, all the way to like 2037. They've got it all booked out at this point. So yeah, will be in Fort Collins in September of 2023.
Maybe they'll finally sell out that stadium in Fort Collins. They've never sold it out, just for what it's worth. It's never been sold out. So that might do it.
It was kind of not pretty with the Boise State game. There was announced attendance of 17,000, and wasn't that after the halftime. So, but yeah, it will.
So you went to CU Boulder. Where'd you grow up before that?
Well, actually, I am a unicorn. I am from Bozeman, Montana. I grew up here in Bozeman, K through 12.
Were you born at the hospital on Wilson like my wife?
No, our family, I was born in Montana. We moved here when I was about 6 months old. Both of my sisters were born at the old hospital on Wilson. No, I moved here, I was 6 months old. So I claim to be a native. I'm a Montana native, but I'm not a Bozeman native.
Hey, when I first moved here in 2000, it was 5 generations to be a native. Now I think it's 5 years is the new rule. That's how it's changed, right? Is that fair?
Semi-natives, yes.
You're a native. I think you're a native, though. Definitely, Stuart, you got to qualify. That's great. So how did you end up practicing law? Did you go to law school? You went to law school at CU also, is that right?
Yes. That was always the plan. Ever since I think 5th grade, if you ask my family, I was heading for law school. My stepfather was an attorney, and I always liked, history, social studies, that type of thing. So, when I was taking Latin in high school, you pretty much knew that my path was preordained. So I was heading to law school from a very early age.
Well, good. What do you like most about practicing law, Stuart?
I like, and this is kind of, how I got into bankruptcy, actually. It's one of the few areas of the law where someone comes in the door at point A in their lives, and I can take them to point B in their lives, and I can show them an actual improvement. Nothing against, I don't do divorces, I don't do personal injury, I don't, things like that. That's just not my world. But in bankruptcy, there's an actual tangible positive effect that walking in our door that we can give people, and that I like that.
So a lot of people there are people who end up in bankruptcy. Tell us how that happens and how you developed your specialty. How'd you fall into this area helping folks out with bankruptcy law?
Well, 2 things. One, I had my professor of bankruptcy in law school was very good, and for whatever he piqued my interest. He was a practitioner. Most of my professors were theoreticians, and talked about grand schemes of things, as opposed to, well, this is how this section applies to the real world type of thing. And then when I first got back to Bozeman to practice, I did a little bit of everything, sole practitioner. So I was a public defender back in the day when there wasn't a public defender office. And a lot of attorneys didn't like to drive to Butte, which is where our nearest federal court is. So there was a little niche there to find, and I carved myself a little niche, and been primarily doing bankruptcies for the last quarter century or so.
Oh, great. So let me just ask you this. I do get people who come to who contact me saying, hey, I myself or a family member, we're looking at bankruptcy. What kinds of things should they bring to your office for your initial meeting that'll be helpful for you and for them as far as both making a decision on whether this is right for them, and secondly, on starting the process and kind of gaining some ground right out of the chute?
Well, a lot of times, people call and we want to kind of walk them through as to whether or not even it's a good idea or even something they want to consider. There's a lot of myths, a lot of misinformation, type of things that we need to reassure people that it's not the end of the world. It's an actual thing. It's a fresh start, clean slate. There's a reason that the process is there. And our office, what we do is I've got an email that I will send people before the appointment. And so,
and we'll put a link on that here on this website, Stuart. So yeah, please send that to me. But you have an email, and what do you have them email to you?
well, it just, here's the stuff we're going to need. It's government work. So there's a laundry list of documents, last 2 years of tax returns, 6 months worth of pay stubs, 3 months worth of bank statements, titles. If you got life insurance, you got a retirement account, you got divorce recently, which happens a lot,
Probably happens a lot, yeah.
agreement. So there's, there's a list that we have, people don't have to go in front of a judge. We just deal with a court-appointed attorney called the trustee. And the trustee's job is to review the paperwork. And we've had the same trustees for 20 years or so. So we know what they're going to look for. We know what they're going to ask for. So rather than have it become a stress point, we just say, well, just bring us all this stuff when you first come in. And then we can take a look at it and make sure we got everything that we know the trustee is going to ask for and what they're going to look for.
I know this, I suspect this varies a lot, but how long does the process typically take from the time someone comes into your office, you see that this is a good thing for them, until they resolve it?
Well, for most people, most bankruptcies are Chapter 7s, which is the straight bankruptcy.
Mhm.
And the hearings are scheduled once a month. And the hearings are, again, we're doing it since last 18 months or so. It's just been by Zoom meetings. We haven't been doing them in person in Butte. So people don't actually have to drive to Butte. We just do it here in our office. And so from the time they file, it's usually 4 to 6 weeks gap between the time we file and the time they have the hearing. And they get their discharge 60 days after their hearing. So the whole
Well, I'm
process
jealous.
with people is about 3 months from start to finish.
Wow, that's impressive. It is almost 3 years to get a jury trial in Montana, in Bozeman. So I'm jealous. Yours is 12 times faster than what we do. That's just crazy. So hey, Stuart, we're going to have your contact information on our website. Is there anything else that folks should know about before they pick up the phone and give you a shout?
Just don't be afraid to ask questions. Like you say, there's lots of misinformation. I'll never be able to get a car loan. I'll never be able to buy a house. No one will give me a credit card. That's actually part of the process. There's a credit counseling course that you do once before you file online, once after you file, that kind of walks you through the post-bankruptcy world. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask. I mean, if it's not for you, we'll be the first to tell you.
When they call you, who's the first person they're going to hear from in your office, so they should know?
Well, they're going to first talk to Katie. Katie and I have, Katie's been working with me, I won't say for me, with me for over 30 years.
Oh, wow.
So she's got, I like to tell people that she knows more about bankruptcy than there may be 10 or 15 attorneys in the state of Montana that know more about bankruptcy than Katie does. So you're getting
Don't lose Katie. That is awesome. Yes.
You're getting a 2-for-1 deal when you get Katie, but yeah, it's just the two of us. So Katie will answer the phone and then she'll put you through to me and we'll talk about the options and see if it seems like a fit. And if it does, we'll send you the email with the list of stuff we need. We'll get together and get them going.
Hey, Stuart, thank you so much for your time today. We'll have the contact information on our website, and I really do appreciate your time. Have a great day, Stuart.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Whoops.